Just when the world thought Toyota had fallen behind, it struck back, silently, but harder than anyone expected. No flashy events. No leaks. Just a single statement from Toyota's CEO that sent a chill through the entire auto industry. Our new dynamic force engine will destroy the competition. Those words weren't marketing, they were a warning. Because while Tesla and BYD were chasing batteries, Toyota was quietly perfecting something else. An engine so advanced it might make the electric revolution stumble. An engine that doesn't just burn fuel, it rewrites the laws of efficiency itself. And now, the question isn't when the EVs will take over. It's whether Toyota just found a way to stop them. For years, the world mocked Toyota for being too slow to go electric. While Tesla launched futuristic models and BYD flooded the market with affordable EVs, Toyota kept talking about something no one wanted to hear anymore: hybrid technology. Critics called it outdated, investors called it safe, and fans of electric cars called it stubborn. But what almost everyone missed was that Toyota wasn't resisting change, it was preparing for a different kind of revolution. Behind closed doors, Toyota's engineers were studying the global EV boom, not to copy it, but to find its weaknesses. Charging times, raw material shortages, battery degradation. All the problems the EV world tried to ignore, Toyota took notes on every single one. While others were racing to dominate the electric market, Toyota was perfecting what it believed would be the next evolution of mobility. A technology that could merge the instant power of electric motors with the unmatched endurance of internal combustion. And it wasn't just talk. Toyota quietly invested billions into solid-state batteries, hydrogen systems, and something called the dynamic force engine, a new breed of engine that could achieve unheard-of fuel efficiency while delivering performance on par with EVs. It was a bold, almost defiant move. Most automakers were betting everything on full electrification. Toyota was betting on balance, and that decision would soon shake the foundations of the entire industry. Because what they were about to reveal would prove that Toyota never fell behind, it was just waiting for everyone else to make a mistake. At first glance, the dynamic force engine looked like just another gasoline engine: cylinders, pistons, and spark plugs. But inside, it was a completely different beast. Toyota's engineers had reimagined the internal combustion engine from the ground up, pushing it to do things experts once said were impossible. The key was efficiency. Typical engines convert only about 30% of fuel energy into motion. The rest is wasted as heat. But Toyota's new design shattered that limit, reaching an incredible 41% thermal efficiency, one of the highest ever achieved in a production engine. That might sound like a small jump, but in the automotive world, it's revolutionary, like discovering a hidden gear that no one else knew existed. So how did they pull it off? It came down to precision. The engine's longer stroke and wider angle valves allowed more air to flow in and out, while advanced variable valve timing systems adjusted every movement down to the millisecond. The result: more power, less fuel, and emissions that dropped dramatically, all without a single plug or charging cable. But that wasn't the only surprise. Toyota had also found a way to make this engine work hand-in-hand with electric motors, creating a system that blended both worlds seamlessly. While other automakers were trying to force drivers to choose gas or electric, Toyota's new hybrid tech said, why not both? It was the kind of innovation that didn't just improve cars, it redefined what efficiency could mean. And when word of this breakthrough started to leak out, the industry didn't laugh anymore. They started paying attention. Because if Toyota could make a gas engine rival electric performance, what else were they hiding? When every major carmaker was throwing billions into full electric transitions, Toyota quietly took a different road, one that most experts dismissed as outdated. But now, that outdated strategy is looking more like a master plan. While Tesla and BYD fought over charging networks and battery supply chains, Toyota focused on something far simpler: flexibility. They understood one hard truth about the global market: not every country is ready for a full EV takeover. In places with limited charging infrastructure or unstable electricity grids, electric cars aren't a dream, they're a headache. And that's where Toyota found its opening. Instead of putting all its chips on one technology, Toyota spread its bets: hybrids, plug-in hybrids, hydrogen fuel cells, and now, ultra-efficient combustion engines like the dynamic force. The idea wasn't to chase trends, it was to control the transition. While other automakers risked everything on battery production, Toyota ensured it could adapt to any market, anytime. And here's the genius part: Toyota's approach didn't just save billions, it made the company nearly immune to the EV market's biggest risks. When lithium prices spiked, Toyota wasn't panicking. When charging delays frustrated EV owners, Toyota's hybrids quietly dominated sales charts. And while the world debated the future of batteries, Toyota was already testing solid-state prototypes that could charge in just minutes. It wasn't about being the first. It was about being the smartest. Toyota had effectively turned patience into power, and while everyone else raced ahead, they were setting the stage to overtake them all in one calculated move. But what exactly is Toyota's endgame, and how far are they willing to go to win the race? Behind Toyota's calm and calculated public image, a silent war was unfolding, one that few outsiders ever saw. Inside the company's sleek headquarters in Aichi, Japan, engineers and executives were locked in a fierce debate. Should Toyota go all in on electric vehicles, or stay true to its hybrid roots? Some board members argued that the world was changing too fast. They pointed to Tesla's surging stock price and China's growing EV dominance. To them, Toyota risked becoming the next Kodak, a giant that ignored innovation until it was too late. But on the other side were the purists, engineers who believed that fully electric cars weren't the ultimate solution. They argued that the infrastructure wasn't ready, and that the obsession with EVs ignored bigger global realities like power shortages, battery waste, and rare metal scarcity. At the center of this clash stood one man, Akio Toyoda, the grandson of Toyota's founder. Calm, visionary, and fiercely loyal to his family's legacy, Akio saw things differently. While others were chasing headlines, he focused on sustainability, not just in cars, but in the company's survival. He believed Toyota should evolve, not surrender its engineering DNA. Under his leadership, Toyota doubled down on hybrid technology, quietly developing systems that could outperform electric vehicles in real-world driving. It wasn't the flashy path investors wanted, but it was the smart one. Akio's team called it realistic innovation, building the bridge between the present and the future. And while critics accused him of being anti-EV, Akio simply smiled and said, "We're not behind. We're building what comes next." Those words would become prophetic. Because just a few years later, the very strategy that drew ridicule would make Toyota the most adaptable car company on the planet. But to understand how Toyota pulled it off, you have to see what happened next, the quiet revolution inside their factories that changed everything. While the world's attention was on Tesla's gigafactories and BYD's massive battery plants, Toyota was engineering a quieter, but equally groundbreaking, revolution of its own. Inside its factories, something remarkable was happening. Robots, engineers, and AI systems were working side by side in a manufacturing process so advanced that even competitors didn't realize how far ahead Toyota had gone. They called it the Toyota Production System 2.0, an evolution of the same lean manufacturing philosophy that once changed global industry. But this time, Toyota had taken it to another level. Using AI-driven analytics, digital twins, and adaptive robotics, Toyota could redesign, test, and optimize new vehicles in weeks instead of months. Every part, every system, every process was being fine-tuned with almost surgical precision. Most automakers still relied heavily on outsourced components and external suppliers. Toyota, on the other hand, was quietly moving in the opposite direction, in-house mastery. From battery development to advanced powertrains, Toyota wanted total control. This meant faster innovation, fewer leaks, and, most importantly, independence from volatile global supply chains. The result? Cars that were built better, faster, and cheaper, without cutting corners. That's why, even when chip shortages crippled the entire auto industry, Toyota was one of the few companies still running its lines at full speed. It wasn't luck. It was decades of discipline meeting cutting-edge technology. And the most impressive part? Toyota didn't brag about it. No big press events. No flashy demos. They simply kept building, quietly preparing for the moment the rest of the industry would stumble. And when that moment came, Toyota was ready to strike. Because what they were about to unveil next wasn't just an improvement, it was something that could completely rewrite the rules of the game. When Toyota finally revealed what it had been working on, the automotive world didn't know how to react. The company that was supposedly falling behind had just unveiled something that flipped the entire EV conversation upside down: solid-state batteries. For years, this technology was seen as the holy grail of energy storage, incredibly powerful, insanely efficient, but nearly impossible to mass-produce. Many tried and failed. Yet here was Toyota, calmly announcing that they'd cracked the code. Their prototype battery could fully charge in under 10 minutes, last over 1,000 kilometers, and maintain its performance for years without major degradation. It was the breakthrough everyone had been chasing, and Toyota did it without the noise or hype. But that wasn't all. Toyota also revealed plans to integrate this solid-state technology with its hybrid systems and next-gen dynamic force engines. It wasn't an either-or future, it was everything working together. Imagine a car that could switch seamlessly between electric and combustion power, offering insane efficiency, ultra-fast charging, and zero-range anxiety. That's exactly what Toyota was building. Analysts were stunned. Some called it the end of Tesla's dominance. Others said it marked the beginning of a post-EV era. But for Toyota, this wasn't about headlines. It was about execution. They didn't just want to lead in electric cars, they wanted to redefine mobility itself. Suddenly, Toyota's slow and steady strategy made perfect sense. While others rushed into a one-size-fits-all electric future, Toyota had been preparing for a multi-path revolution, one where hybrids, hydrogen, and solid-state batteries could coexist and evolve together. And just like that, the company everyone thought was stuck in the past had become the one defining the future. But as Toyota's technology began making waves across the industry, something unexpected happened, a growing sense of fear among its rivals. Because this time, Toyota wasn't just competing, it was rewriting the entire playbook. When Toyota's announcement hit the news, the reaction from rival automakers was instant and chaotic. Tesla investors panicked. European carmakers scrambled to confirm if the rumors were true. Even Chinese EV giants like BYD reportedly began revising their long-term plans. Everyone suddenly realized the same thing: Toyota wasn't just back in the game, it had just changed the rules. Inside Tesla, analysts worried about the implications. If Toyota could mass-produce solid-state batteries, Tesla's edge in battery performance could vanish overnight. No more long charging times. No more expensive lithium dependency. And perhaps most worrying of all, no need for a full EV to achieve green status. That meant millions of hybrid Toyotas could start flooding global markets faster, cheaper, and with better range than any mid-tier electric car. European brands like Volkswagen and BMW faced a different kind of threat. They'd already spent billions transitioning to full electric platforms, shutting down older engine lines. Toyota, on the other hand, still had all its hybrid infrastructure intact. It could pivot in any direction, and that flexibility terrified competitors who were now locked into one strategy. Even governments began to take notice. Japan's Ministry of Economy called Toyota's research a national advantage. Meanwhile, reports surfaced that several Western automakers were quietly trying to negotiate battery partnerships with Toyota, something that would have been unthinkable just a few years earlier. The irony was stunning. The company that was once accused of being too conservative was now forcing the rest of the industry to catch up. And yet, while rivals were busy reacting, Toyota was already working on its next move, a plan that could push it beyond cars entirely and into a much bigger arena: global energy dominance. Toyota isn't stopping at engines and batteries. The company's vision stretches far beyond the vehicles themselves, into the very way energy is produced, stored, and used. While the world debates EVs versus hybrids, Toyota is quietly designing an ecosystem where cars, homes, and industries are connected through advanced energy solutions. At the heart of this vision is the super hybrid concept, a seamless fusion of the dynamic force engine, solid-state batteries, and hydrogen power. Imagine a vehicle that can switch between fuels depending on availability, running on electricity in the city, petrol for long-distance drives, or hydrogen where infrastructure supports it. Its flexibility no other automaker can match, and it positions Toyota to dominate not just transportation, but energy management itself. Reports suggest Toyota is also exploring energy storage networks using the same solid-state technology, meaning cars could one day act as mobile power sources for homes or grids. This isn't science fiction, it's the logical next step for a company that has spent decades quietly solving problems no one else dared to tackle. Competitors are already feeling the pressure. While Tesla, Ford, and BYD focus on EV dominance, Toyota's approach gives it a hedge against every potential disruption: battery shortages, energy crises, or shifts in fuel technology. In other words, Toyota isn't just preparing for the future, it's creating a future where it remains indispensable. And the message is clear: the next revolution in mobility won't be electric or hybrid alone. It will belong to whoever can combine performance, efficiency, and adaptability, and Toyota has already placed its pieces on the board. The question now isn't whether Toyota will succeed. The question is how long the rest of the world will take to catch up. The dynamic force engine isn't just another addition to Toyota's lineup, it's a statement. At a time when the world has been convinced that electric vehicles are the only future, Toyota has created an engine that challenges that assumption completely. What makes it so revolutionary isn't just the raw power or efficiency, though achieving over 40% thermal efficiency in a petrol engine is unheard of. It's the way this engine adapts. It works perfectly with hybrid systems, can run on multiple fuel types like ethanol or hydrogen, and is compatible with a range of vehicle sizes from compact sedans to large SUVs. It's not limited by geography, infrastructure, or fuel availability. This flexibility gives Toyota an unprecedented advantage in markets that EVs still struggle to serve: developing countries, rural areas, or regions where charging infrastructure is sparse. Beyond adaptability, the engine also represents a leap in sustainable engineering. Its multi-hole direct injection, advanced cooling systems, and precision thermal management reduce emissions while maximizing performance. Cars equipped with this engine can outperform many EVs in terms of mileage, longevity, and real-world usability, and they do it without relying on an expensive charging network or rare battery materials. Put simply, Toyota has created a technology that forces both consumers and competitors to rethink the EV-centric future. It's not about replacing electric vehicles, it's about proving that the right engineering can deliver similar benefits without the compromises that come with current battery technology. And while the world debates, Toyota quietly continues its R&D, preparing for a future where the dynamic force engine isn't just a competitor, it could redefine the standard for mobility itself. Toyota's launch of the dynamic force engine isn't just a technological breakthrough, it's a strategic earthquake that's shaking the global auto market. Overnight, markets and manufacturers alike had to reconsider their assumptions about the future of mobility. In countries like India, Southeast Asia, and parts of Africa, where EV infrastructure is still limited, the engine offers a practical alternative that's both affordable and high-performing. Consumers who might have hesitated to buy electric cars now have a hybrid option that feels like the best of both worlds. Low running costs, minimal emissions, and no range anxiety. In effect, Toyota has expanded its potential market exponentially. Even in Europe and the US, where emissions regulations are strict, the dynamic force engine fits seamlessly. Its low CO2 and NOx output, combined with multi-fuel capabilities, means Toyota vehicles can comply with current standards and remain adaptable to future fuel shifts. This gives Toyota a rare combination of performance, environmental compliance, and global versatility, something competitors are struggling to match. The ripple effects are already visible. Rivals investing billions in EV-only strategies may now face slower adoption in emerging markets. Governments promoting electric mobility might see hybrid technology regaining credibility. And most importantly, consumers now have real choice, the option to enjoy the efficiency and environmental benefits of electric propulsion without fully committing to the limitations of today's EVs. In short, Toyota hasn't just built a better engine, it's changed the way the world will think about cars, energy, and mobility for the next decade. Toyota isn't stopping with the dynamic force engine. The company's engineers are already looking beyond today, working on what could become the ultimate vehicle, a super hybrid. This would combine the dynamic force engine, advanced solid-state batteries, and hydrogen power into a single, seamless system. Imagine a car that runs silently on electricity through the city, switches to petrol for long drives, and can even burn hydrogen where available, all without a hitch. No charging worries, no range anxiety, and no compromises on power or efficiency. It's a concept that merges the best aspects of every technology available today into one vehicle, adaptable to almost any market or infrastructure scenario. Toyota has been methodical in its approach. Years of R&D, hundreds of prototypes, and countless tests have ensured that each component, from the engine to the battery to hydrogen integration, works perfectly in concert. This isn't speculation, it's the result of deliberate engineering, aimed at future-proofing the company against shifts in fuel types, regulations, and consumer needs. The implications are staggering. If successful, these super hybrids could redefine the global automotive market, offering consumers a smarter alternative to fully electric vehicles while maintaining the reliability and familiarity of conventional engines. Competitors may have been racing to lead the EV market, but Toyota is preparing to lead all segments simultaneously. With this strategy, Toyota isn't just participating in the future of mobility, it's shaping it. Toyota's move with the dynamic force engine and future super hybrids sent shockwaves across boardrooms worldwide. Companies that once dismissed hybrids as old technology are now scrambling to re-evaluate their strategies. Tesla, BYD, Ford, and even European giants like Volkswagen and BMW are suddenly facing a stark reality. Toyota isn't just competing, it's forcing the industry to pivot. The problem is clear. Many rivals invested billions into EV-only strategies, shutting down combustion engine production, retooling factories, and betting on battery supply chains. Toyota, however, retained flexibility. Its multi-fuel, multi-platform approach allows it to adapt quickly to market changes, fuel availability, and regulatory shifts. Competitors who ignored hybrids or alternative fuels now risk losing ground in regions where EV infrastructure is insufficient or consumer adoption is slow. Executives are now asking uncomfortable questions. Can we match Toyota's thermal efficiency in our engines? Can we replicate their hybrid electric synergy? How do we compete in markets where hybrids now dominate before EVs even arrive? For many, the answers are unclear. And while competitors hesitate, Toyota continues quietly refining its technology, integrating lessons from real-world testing, and preparing to launch innovations that will make its rivals' current strategies feel outdated. In effect, Toyota isn't just ahead in engineering, It's dictating the pace and direction of the entire automotive industry. The question is, can anyone catch up? Toyota's dynamic force engine isn't just changing cars, it's changing the way consumers think about mobility. In markets where EVs face adoption hurdles, hybrids with this new technology suddenly become the most practical and desirable option. People now realize they don't have to compromise between efficiency, affordability, and environmental responsibility. Toyota delivers all three. For emerging markets, this is a game changer. Countries with limited charging infrastructure, irregular electricity supply, or high EV costs now have access to vehicles that feel modern, efficient, and reliable. Drivers can enjoy low running costs, reduced emissions, and the familiarity of a petrol engine, all without worrying about charging stations or battery lifespan. Even in developed markets, the impact is significant. Toyota's ability to comply with strict emission standards while offering performance and multi-fuel compatibility sets a new benchmark. Regulators, previously focused on pushing EV adoption, now see that high-efficiency hybrids can achieve the same environmental goals without the logistical headaches of a fully electric transition. Competitors face an uncomfortable choice: continue pushing expensive EV programs with uncertain adoption, or pivot toward more flexible hybrid strategies to remain competitive. For consumers, the dynamic force engine restores choice, proving that the future isn't only electric, but intelligent, adaptable, and practical. In short, Toyota has reshaped expectations, offering a bridge between today's limitations and tomorrow's possibilities, and the world is paying attention. Toyota's innovations are not just a short-term advantage, they could redefine the trajectory of the global auto industry for decades. By proving that a combustion engine can rival EVs in efficiency and adaptability, Toyota challenges the assumption that electrification is the only path forward. This forces every automaker to rethink long-term strategies, from R&D investments to factory layouts and global supply chains. The multi-path approach, combining petrol, hybrid, hydrogen, and solid-state technologies, creates a flexible blueprint that other companies struggle to replicate. Markets that were previously overlooked due to infrastructure gaps now become viable again, shifting where manufacturers focus their attention. Companies that bet everything on EV dominance risk being trapped by high costs, limited adoption, and infrastructure challenges, while Toyota maintains dominance across multiple segments. Furthermore, Toyota's technology sets a new benchmark for efficiency, durability, and emissions compliance. Regulators may start treating high-performance hybrids as legitimate alternatives to full EVs, expanding policy options and influencing global automotive standards. In effect, Toyota isn't just competing in the market, it's shaping the rules by which the market operates. And perhaps most importantly, Toyota's long-term vision signals a broader principle: innovation isn't about following trends, it's about understanding the real-world needs of millions of drivers and building technology that meets them. In doing so, Toyota has not only regained its reputation as an engineering powerhouse, but it's also positioning itself as the company that defines the future of mobility itself. Toyota's ambitions don't stop with today's dynamic force engine. The company is already looking ahead to the super hybrid, a vehicle that could merge the best of three worlds: combustion, electricity, and hydrogen. This isn't speculation, it's the logical evolution of Toyota's multi-pathway strategy, designed to meet every possible scenario in global mobility. Picture this: a car that drives silently on electric power in the city, switches to petrol for long-distance trips, and runs on hydrogen in regions where alternative fuels are available. Charging infrastructure? No problem. Fuel costs? Minimal. Range anxiety? Gone. It's the ultimate flexibility package, offering the efficiency of an EV, the reliability of a petrol engine, and the eco-friendliness of hydrogen, all in one vehicle. Solid-state batteries are the secret sauce here. With ultra-fast charging and high durability, they make city commuting effortless while keeping the car lightweight and responsive. Meanwhile, the dynamic force engine ensures high efficiency and power when needed, and hydrogen compatibility future-proofs the vehicle against fuel transitions. If successful, this super hybrid could reshape expectations worldwide. Consumers won't have to choose between electric or petrol, efficiency or power, affordability or sustainability. Toyota will deliver it all. The super hybrid isn't just a car, it's a preview of the mobility ecosystem of tomorrow, where flexibility, performance, and environmental responsibility coexist seamlessly. Toyota isn't just imagining the future, it's building it. With the dynamic force engine and the promise of a super hybrid, Toyota has thrown down a challenge to the entire automotive world. For competitors, the question is urgent: can any company keep up with a manufacturer that combines decades of engineering expertise, cutting-edge technology, and a flexible multi-fuel strategy? Traditional EV-focused companies now face a stark choice: adapt quickly or risk being left behind. For consumers, the question is just as provocative: Do we need to commit entirely to electric vehicles, or is there a smarter, more practical alternative? Toyota's innovations suggest that efficiency, low emissions, and modern performance don't require an all-electric commitment. Hybrids equipped with dynamic force engines deliver real-world benefits: better mileage, lower running costs, adaptability to multiple fuels, all without the limitations of current EV infrastructure. Essentially, Toyota has shifted the conversation. The future of mobility is no longer a single path, it's a network of possibilities. And in this new reality, Toyota has positioned itself as the company setting the pace, defining the standards, and showing that innovation isn't about following trends, it's about anticipating what the world will need next. The ultimate question now lingers in the minds of both the industry and consumers alike. With Toyota leading the way, are EVs still the only future, or is a smarter, more adaptable path emerging? Toyota's dynamic force engine isn't just a new powertrain, it's a bold statement about the future of mobility. In a world that assumed electric vehicles were the only path forward, Toyota has proven that innovation doesn't always mean abandoning the past. By combining efficiency, adaptability, and long-term reliability, the company has created a solution that addresses the limitations of both conventional engines and EVs, while preparing for fuels of the future like hydrogen and ethanol. This move doesn't just secure Toyota's place in the automotive market, it redefines the rules of the game. Competitors are forced to rethink strategies, consumers gain unprecedented choice, and entire regions previously overlooked by EV adoption can now embrace modern, sustainable mobility. The dynamic force engine, combined with hybrid technology, solid-state batteries, and the promise of super hybrids, signals that Toyota isn't just keeping pace, it's setting the track for the next generation of vehicles. In the end, Toyota has reminded the world that real innovation comes from vision, patience, and the courage to think differently. And with every step forward, the question isn't just what Toyota will do next, it's how the entire automotive world will respond. The future has arrived, and Toyota is leading the charge.